posture. We're going to talk about breathing. We're going to talk about putting our instruments together. And we're going to talk about producing a tone on our instrument and then putting our instruments away. So those are the 5 things that we're going to cover today. So posture, breathing, putting our instruments together, producing a tone, and then putting our instruments away. So you will not need your instruments out today, but starting tomorrow, then we'll start producing a sound together. And if your instrument's here at the school, hopefully we'll be back in tomorrow, so you'll be able to do this in class. Okay? So I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see Mr. Marshall, and he's going to talk to you about posture.
Alright, hello and good morning, class. So when we're talking about posture and things we want to do, when I'm thinking of when I'm at home, the exact opposite of that is true. So when I'm at home, I like to sit back, I like to relax, kick back. That's what it's for. But not in band. So when we're in band, we want to sit up, move to the front of the seat. Not sure well you can see that over there, but I'm at the very front of my seat as far as I can, and these chairs that we have in the band room will help with us. And we lift our back up so we're sitting nice and tall. Our feet are flat on the ground, so that way we have full control of our body, and that'll help us have full control of our instrument. So flat feet, build up to our legs, sitting nice and tall, so that way we're ready to play. Any questions about posture? Alright, cool. So our next step, what we're learning next, now that we have good posture and good control, is breathing. So with breathing, we can typically have it in 2 forms. So we have cool air and warm air. So our warm air, let's have everyone hold out their hands like this. And then just a nice, slow, warm breath of air. So, like you're fogging up a window, right? And then you write little funny things on it. Just like that. But when we're playing the saxophone, that's not what we're going to be wanting the whole time. So when we are playing, we're going to want a nice, cool, steady stream of air. We're thinking like 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. So a little bit farther out, blow some nice cool air using the number 2. So say 2 with me. 2. 2. Yeah, so that O shape that we make, we want to have that present when we blow our air. So we're going to go 2, but when you say it, blow the air and say, or keep your mouth open and then blow the air. So it's going to sound like this. So the 2 is just kind of a representation of what we're going to look like when we say it. So, make sense? I want everyone to do that. 1, 2, 3, 2. Yeah, so it's going to be faster and cooler air, and that's what we want when we play the saxophone. So I'm going to do that a few more times. I want everyone to join in with me. So have your hand up. 1, 2, 3, 2. Alright, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to listen to everyone do. So Bryson, can you turn your mic on a second? Yep. And I want to hear, I'm going to give you 4, and then I want to hear your 2, okay? So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, just like that. Can you hold it out a little bit longer? About 4 counts. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3. Does that make sense? Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, just like that. All right, Gavin, your turn. Can you mute yourself again, Bryson? All right.
Okay, I'm ready.
Alright, Gavin. Same thing as what Bryson just did. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So a little bit faster air, kind of create a smaller O and two oo and your two. So smaller and more air. So try it again. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that was better. All right, Mackenzie, your turn. All right, same thing. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, can we try again with just a little bit more air? So breathe in deeper. So our breaths, this goes for everyone. If you breathe in really shallow, it's going to sound like and really constricted. What we want is we want to breathe from the stomach. So breathe up from there. So it's going to sound like this. So a lot deeper. There's going to be a lot less tension, and that'll help you get more air through. Try it again. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that was better. All right, Samuel, your turn.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's try that again. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, just like that. All right, so now that we have breathing, let's have everyone. Everyone, you can mute yourself now. Let's try that all together. Now that everyone's sounding a lot better with their breaths. 1, 2, 3. All right. So I think we have breathing under control, and we'll work on that as more and more when you guys come back in. So now we're gonna start with our instrument assembly. So all you need to do is watch. We don't need instruments out for this. We'll go over it again when you come into classes. All right. So can everyone see this case next to me, or do I need to move the camera? All right. So the first thing you want to do when you're assembling your instrument is with your case next to you. Sometimes it's on the ground. Well, it should always be on the ground, but since it's going to be easier to see with it up here, I'm going to show it up here for now. But generally, you'll keep it on the ground so none of the stuff falls off. So first thing you want to do, make sure your instrument's right side up. You can tell on here that we have the brand Selmer down here, and it says Muncie Music up here. Generally, on the tops of cases, you'll find things like that. On the back, you won't find anything. So that's how you generally know it's right. But if it's your first time opening up the case, you will unlatch the hooks here and very slowly just like lift it up. And if you feel that it's not very heavy for a saxophone, you'll know that you're opening it up the right way. So now we have our case open. And the first thing we want to do is we have our reeds that we talked about. They're going to be in plastic cases, and you'll carefully take it out so it doesn't break. And the first thing you want to do with your reeds is you're going to put them in your mouth. The fibers on the wood need to soak so that they can vibrate to make the sound that we need to do to play the saxophone. So you'll just put it in your mouth like that. The entire time while you're setting it up. So I'm not going to have it in the whole time so that way I can still talk to you guys, but when you're setting it up, you would want to keep your reed in your mouth the whole time. So for now, I'm going to put it back in here. But let's say we already have that done. The next thing we're going to want to do is you're going to take your neck strap, and you want to, like, usually when you take it off, it's going to be pretty low and you'll have to adjust it. But make sure there's a wide enough hole on here to make sure you can put it through your neck. Just like that. And just like I said before, you'll want to adjust it so that way this will come up, and we'll discuss that a little bit later. But generally, you'll get a pretty good feeling of where that's at. So I'll probably do some more adjusting later so I can show you. But you'll want to do that once you get more comfortable with it. And the next thing you want to do is using your hand you're going to put your first four fingers into the bell here of the instrument, and then your thumb is going to go on the outside. That will give you a good grip, and I'll show you that. So the thumb here and the four fingers on the inside will give you a good grip of the instrument to safely move into your left hand as well. And when it's over here, you're going to take your neck strap. There's a little hook on it right here, and there's a little ring here at the back. So everyone see those? The ring on the saxophone, and then the hook on the neck strap? Yeah, so you're going to connect those, and you're going to lay it down to the side here so it doesn't fall. If it comes unhooked, we want to keep it on our legs just in case it does fall, so that way it doesn't fall to the ground. It just lays on our laps and doesn't damage the instrument. And the next thing you want to do is you're going to grab your... Does anyone want to tell me what this piece of the saxophone is called? Raise your hand. Yeah, Gavin. Unmute.
The neck.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hmm?
What did you say this was?
The neck.
Yeah, the neck. All right, good job, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, does someone else want to tell me what this part is? Yeah, Samuel.
On the mouthpiece.
Yeah, it's the mouthpiece. And you'll also want to grab the... Bryson, do you remember what this is? Starts with an L. Mackenzie, do you remember? Ooh, it's close. I can tell you, you almost got it. All right, Samuel, why don't you help us out? What is this piece called?
Is it the ligature?
Yeah, it's a ligature. So, the neck, the mouthpiece, and the ligature. We want to grab these all at the same time here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the mouthpiece and we're going to carefully just slide it on here. Make sure when you're grabbing the neck, you want to grab the sides of it so we're not like pressing down on this too much. So that way you can just slide it in like that. And when you, oh, and sorry, we're going to also take the reed out of our mouth. Obviously it wasn't in my mouth at the time, but you'll take it out of the mouth at the time too. And on here, on the mouthpiece, we talked about this a little bit before, but there's this flat side on the mouthpiece, and there's the flat side on the reed. And like we said last week, the flat side of the mouthpiece will go with the flat side of the reed. And how we're going to do that is we're going to put our thumb and our middle finger on the side of the mouthpiece with our pointer finger at the top. And what that's going to help us do is when we put the mouthpiece on there, we kind of put it down low. So that way, if we grab it with these, your middle finger and your thumb, it won't slide away. And we can push it up with our right hand thumb there until it touches your top finger. And that should get it into a good place to where it's at the very tip, and we'll get the best sound out of it. Yeah, so now we have our ligature, and what we're going to do with that is there's two sides. There's a slightly bigger side and a slightly smaller side. The bigger side is going to go on first, but if you try to put the smaller side on first, it's just going to end up getting stuck like this, so it won't go on. So what you want to do is flip that around so that the bigger side goes on first. And you just slide that right over top of the reed. Very careful so you're making sure you don't chip the reed. And you'll slide it down. And make sure that these screws that we have on the bottom are over the reed, and that the there's a little like opening, a circular opening up on the top, and that's going to go on the very top right there. So make sure it's kind of looking like this. We got our reed, we got our ligature, and our mouthpiece. And what you're going to do with that is you're going to tighten it up on the side there. Not too tight, but just enough to where it's going to be secure and not move around when you're playing it. You'll start to feel a little bit of tension there. Don't press too hard past that. After that, after we have this together, we're going to bring our saxophone up, And just like we did earlier, make sure you're not pressing down on this octave key. And you'll kind of slide it down in. When you have on your octave key that we were talking about, you're going to want to make sure that that's kind of by this little rod that comes up. That's what triggers this to activate it. So if you put it on the wrong way, you could potentially damage your instrument. So make sure you put this on so that our little rod here for the octave key goes right through that. See that? Should go on just like that. And we'll help you again when you come to the classroom. But after that, your whole saxophone is assembled. And all you have to do from here is make sure you adjust your neck strap. We'll kind of go over this again, but just making sure that comes right up to your mouth. So that'll be the last step in setting up your saxophone. Any questions on how to set it up? For the students that joined us during my talk there, we'll have the video up later, so that way you can watch all of the stuff we just talked about. So any questions? Nope. Alrighty. I'm going to hand it back over to Mr. Edwards here.
All right, so Mr. Marshall is going to walk through the steps. I'm going to explain what it is you're going to do to make a sound. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start on our mouthpiece and neck, okay? That's going to be our first thing that we're going to make our sound on, because it's a little bit easier just to get our initial tone. Now, we've already talked about our breathing. So I'm going to turn this so you can see Mr. Marshall again, but I'll do the explain, okay? All right, so the first thing you're going to do is hold the neck and mouthpiece just outside your mouth. Now, you're going to open your mouth. Now, you're going to take the mouthpiece, and the reed is going to go on your bottom lip. So you're going to set it there, and then just gently roll your lip in just over the teeth. You don't need to roll a bunch of your lip in, just basically enough to cover your teeth, okay? Now, you're going to put about half the mouthpiece in your mouth, and then you're going to put your top teeth on top, okay? Now, you're going to think of your lips as being a rubber band, okay? So if you stretch a rubber band out, it always goes back and meets the shape of whatever it's surrounding. So your lips are just forming a seal on this. You don't really have to bite down really, really hard, okay? You're going to need a little pressure from your teeth from the top and bottom, but your lips are basically just forming a seal around the mouthpiece. So Mr. Marshall is going to take a big breath. He's going to go through those steps again. He's going to start with that mouthpiece. That's the basic steps that you're going to go through. It's pretty simple to get that initial sound. Now, a couple of things to remember. Your bottom teeth have to be covered. If you just put your teeth on the reed, it's going to hurt very, very badly, because that reed gets to vibrating really, really fast, and that can hurt the nerves in your teeth. It's very, very uncomfortable. Okay, so it's important to just roll that lip over your bottom teeth. Then it's important to get that fast airstream moving to get that tone. Okay? Does anyone have any questions over how to produce a tone? Okay, so we've now gone through posture, our breathing,